After 11 years with one brokerage, my husband and I have officially made the switch to EXP. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit nervous, but I do want to share a bit of the behind the scenes on the decision-making process that we went through to make a big change in brokerages. And if we haven't met yet, hi, my name is Stefanie, and I am a real estate agent and founder of Market Authority Academy. And my husband and I have been full-time realtors for 11 years. And so everything that I share on this channel really are lessons learned from my own real estate business, things that I am doing day to day alongside my husband, Bryce, here in Phoenix, Arizona. And in this video, I want to walk you through why we made the move to EXP, what went into that decision-making process, what changed our minds, and what made us even consider EXP at all when we went to make a move, and also what this means for agents who I coach inside my coaching program, the Market Authority Academy. And again, I'm a little bit nervous with this conversation because truly this is not a sales pitch, and I don't want this move to change who you know me to be, which is somebody who truly cares about real estate business practices and loves talking about systems and organization and structure and marketing and branding and all the amazing things that we get to do as real estate agents. But I do think that transparency really matters, and I'm excited to share a little bit of the behind the scenes and a look at a decision that has really changed everything in our real estate business this year. So who am I to talk about this? Well, after 11 years at the same brokerage, we really thought that we would never leave, but the industry shifted, and so did we. So 11 years ago, when Bryce and I were leaving our corporate finance 9-to-5s to get into real estate, we knew that it really mattered what brokerage we landed at. We didn't really understand the implications of it as new real estate agents, but we knew it was a big decision, and so we took that decision seriously. And we interviewed 5 or 6 brokerages around the Phoenix area and interviewed the one that we ended up with twice before we ultimately made the decision to move. And it was a really great fit for us, and we loved working with the people there. And a couple of the things that were really important to us in the beginning, as well as now, in choosing a brokerage was having total ownership over our brand and the vision for our real estate business. We didn't want them to get in the way, basically. We didn't even really want to use a lot of their tools and tech and support that they offered within the brokerage because we wanted to own everything. And we can talk about that a little bit in other videos. But for example, like the CRM, the website, just in case there ever had to be a move in brokerages, we never wanted to have to deal with like shutting down the CRM and losing data and choosing something different and then incurring a cost that we didn't already have. That was never our style. And so from the beginning, and this is why I'm saying this, from the beginning, we always really cared about being with a brokerage who truly empowered us to do things our way. So over the years, my husband and I became top producers here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we developed this incredible referral-based real estate business and really utilize things like social media. We were some of the first in our area to use social media heavily to grow our real estate business. And it was great for several years. We then decided to begin helping other real estate agents by teaching what we had learned in the trenches of our business. And so I launched the Market Authority Academy in January of 2020. And in the last almost 6 years now, we've had over 700 agents across the US and Canada go through that program as well. And so for the last 5-6 years of that, we haven't really wanted to make any changes in our real estate business because we are also growing the coaching side. And as you can imagine, those two things take so much time, energy, and bandwidth. In that time as well, we grew our family. We've had 2 beautiful boys during that time. And so as parents to young children, any additional time outside of real estate or coaching has truly been just to make sure that our home life is very well cared for, because that, of course, is the number one priority for us. In the last couple of years, we started wondering if and when a change would be due. So our local boutique brokerage went through some changes and recently, like a year ago, was acquired by another brand, a larger national firm. And when that change happened, it really made us pause and think, okay, what do we want the next several years to look like? And do we want to change and evolve the direction that our local brokerage was going? Or does it make sense to look at other options that were available to us? One thing that we knew that we wanted in a brokerage was a brokerage that would have national and international reach. We wanted to be able to really work alongside agents in other states, even more so than we have been through the Market Authority coaching program. And speaking of the Market Authority coaching program, we also needed to be with a firm who would allow us to and support those efforts there in reaching more real estate agents and providing next level support even better than we've been able to. EXP was an obvious option for us, but we were not sold on EXP by any means. And honestly, it was not a firm that we had ever even considered. And to be totally frank, we were the OG EXP haters because we were around when EXP came on the scene. And we weren't really a fan of what we were seeing. The model seemed super interesting and almost too good to be true, of course. But there was a lot of boisterousness going on with the agents who had been early adopters rather, and it just didn't feel like the place for us at the time. And we thought that we were right in that assumption because there were a lot of other agents that we trusted who also kind of had the same feel or the same idea of what was going on there. And so we never really explored it. There were just some like ick moments that kind of turned us off the brand entirely. But as we were considering other options to go to, it became clear that EXP was really the front runner in choices for us. What I didn't know before that I learned in my research was that EXP has the largest agents count of any other brokerage in North America. They have an enormous market share. They have more top producing team leaders and like brokerages within a brokerage is how I like to think of them than any other firm in the country. And that was super cool to learn. Financially, as a corporation, their financials are pretty sound as well. They're not carrying a lot of debt. And so they just seem like a firm that hopefully nothing major is going to change down the line due to mismanaged finances on their end. Other brokerages that we considered also have different rules and constraints on the way that we would be able to extend coaching to other agents in a really creative way. There is another option that we were really considering that actually just became a non-starter for us because of the way that they do and don't allow you to extend coaching to agents within the firm. EXP, on the other hand, makes it incredibly advantageous to offer an amazing level of support and coaching through my program in a way that feels exclusive and like a deep value add to agents who may consider joining me at EXP down the line. And now, while I'm not looking to become like some mega big recruiter and have that as my main focus, naturally I can imagine some agents would be open to aligning with me, especially to maybe even work more closely in the coaching. And so being able to have that as an option in the future made a lot of sense to us. And then earlier this year, one of our friends that we've known forever moved to EXP. And I didn't know that it had happened until a couple of months after when Bryce reached out to him for some guidance on different things that we were trying to do. And you may know him. His name is Joshua Smith. He's here on YouTube. He has an incredible coaching program. He has an amazing, brilliant mind when it comes to growing real estate businesses. And he was actually the first realtor that we met because he was at our local brokerage as well. And so our first day in real estate, when we walked into the office, he was one of the first people that we met. And he was so incredibly generous with his time and his expertise and has always had an open door to us anytime we had questions on literally anything in regards to real estate and business. And so when Joshua made the move to EXP, it actually changed our entire perspective on EXP as an option. Because if Joshua, who we know to be super intentional and strategic and a man of integrity, if he made that move, okay, maybe it was something that we needed to explore further. The last piece of the decision really came down to the people. Being able to move over and be under Joshua Smith and be able to work even closer with him in a lot of the similar things that he does and that we do with our business and coaching, it just made all the sense in the world. Joshua Smith is also directly under Mike Sherrard, who might be another name that you recognize here on YouTube. And Mike Sherrard was also incredibly generous with his time and just his knowledge and sharing his perspective on the move and giving us the information we needed to decide whether or not it was right for us. And at no point was anybody pushy or salesy or trying to influence our decision one way or another. They just wanted to lay out the information that we needed to make the right decision, and we really appreciated that. And so more than anything, we moved to EXP for the people. Now, at this point, some agents have asked me, well, Stefanie, why don't you guys just start your own brokerage? Don't you want to be brokers and have your own firm? Absolutely not. That, totally transparently, to me, sounds dreadful. And I know that that is an amazing path for other agents and brokers and broker owners. And I absolutely love that for you. And I work with a lot of brokerage owners as well in the Market Authority Academy. So I understand that path very well. For us, that was not a path that we wanted to explore. The liability, the overhead costs, the amount of time, additional time it would take to really mentor and bring up agents here locally, that was not something that we really had as part of our plan. And if we did want to go that route, then what I would have wanted to explore instead was creating a brokerage within a brokerage at EXP. I think using a firm, whether it's EXP or another brand, using their tech platform, using their infrastructure, and depending on a different overhead to help shield from liability makes a lot more sense to us. And so in a way, that might naturally be what happens, is we might naturally just create like a national brokerage within a brokerage. I think EXP actually is the perfect route for doing that. So that was part of why we chose not to go the brokerage route and instead align with a firm that would just have so many different opportunities and options for us to grow whichever way we wanted to, without the additional overhead spend, without the liability, without all the other pieces involved. So when we looked at where our business was headed, where the industry is headed, and the people who were there, the decision became a no-brainer. Now, all that to say, it still took us over 8 months to actually pull the trigger and make the decision official, because we really don't make decisions quickly at all. Bryce and I are notorious in our circle for being very, very, very slow, cautious decision makers. And so all that to say, none of this was done quickly. This was not a rash decision at all, and this took a long time for us to feel good. The moment we made the decision, we made the switch the same day. We filled out the application, severed our license, and moved on over, and it's been fine. But I'm asked quite frequently on this channel and with other agents in the coaching program when they are weighing decisions on whether or not to move brokerages. And so I understood enough about the decision-making process after helping others make that move that I knew it was going to be a seismic shift in our business, and so it was not something that we wanted to do quickly at all. And I'd actually love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever considered making a brokerage switch? Or have you felt stuck with where you were and you were unsure of what a switch would look like? Drop your experience in the comments. I read every single one, and your perspective might help someone else who's there too. So as we have made this switch official, I was blown away by the outpouring of positive messages on social media and in my inbox. I did make an announcement because, again, we really care about transparency. And so I made that announcement, and I couldn't believe how many agents were coming out of the woodwork saying congrats, even if they're not there, just supporting our decision. And it really felt incredibly affirming that we had made the right move. And after we've made the right move, our onboarding with EXP has been absolutely amazing, so seamless. They offer way more than I had even thought to expect. I love their tech platform. I love how everything is built out on the brokerage side. And one thing that we weren't sure exactly of what it would look like is, like, how does a cloud-based brokerage even work? We've been with a local brick and mortar brokerage for 11 years. What was going to change? And I have found even more support and community at EXP than I dared to imagine. And of course, the mentorship and direct access and support with Josh and Mike has been unbelievable as well. I really didn't realize how much we were missing until we got in the room. Okay, well, I hope that this gives you a little bit of a sense on our decision-making process and what that experience was like behind the scenes. And I want to share a little bit of what this means for agents who might be looking to partner with us in the future. Now, again, by no means am I looking to become a crazy, massive recruiter with EXP. My number one priority is helping our clients and the agents who work with us in Market Authority Academy. So that is not changing, but this move does open up some really interesting opportunities with us that I'm super excited about. So for agents who are considering making a switch and have already been looking at EXP, if you were to partner with us at EXP, we do now have a new pathway into Market Authority Academy that previously was not available, which I'm really excited about. So if you have been considering Market Authority coaching and you also are looking at EXP already, you can book a call with me below, and I'll share a little bit of what that process looks like, iron out any details so that you can decide if that's the right move for you. EXP also has an amazing co-sponsor feature, which allows us to make sure that if you are partnering with us at EXP, we can also hook you up with amazing local support in your market if you are not in my neighborhood. So there's so many ways that we can work alongside you even closer than we've been able to before, which I'm absolutely thrilled to be able to explore. And this also means that I get to participate in EXP events, which are really exciting. The plan is to, when it makes sense, go to like the EXP cons and just explore some of the other gatherings that they do, which we've never really gone to or been a part of on any scale with any brand. So we're really excited to see what it looks like to be rubbing elbows with other agents in the room in different parts of the country as these events come up. So if you are already an EXP agent, then I hope that maybe one day we can meet you face to face in the room. Again, this is not about throwing a pitch. It's about being able to walk alongside you as a coach, as a realtor, as a partner. And it's just a new path that didn't exist before. Now it does. And we're really excited to explore exactly what opens up from there. Any conversations on partnering or support all go through the same link below. It's the same one that's always been there. Book a strategy call with me for a no pressure, totally confidential conversation on what ideas you're kicking around in your business. And if it seems like I can help, then I'll walk you through what I would be doing if I were in your shoes. And then we can explore options from there. And if this video gave you something to think about, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel if you have not yet, so that you don't miss what's coming out next. Because next week, I'm walking you through your 2026 real estate business planning process. And I'm going to be sharing what I'm shifting, what I'm doubling down on, so that you can help map out the same steps for your business. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, keep on crushing it.